Okay everyone, welcome to this next tutorial, which is going to deal with creating the roof for our cottage. Now let's examine the floor plan elevations to learn a little bit about the roof that we're going to put on. First of all, let's look at the floor plan, and we can see we've got this dashed line that runs around the exterior of the walls of the cottage, and also a dashed line running down the middle here. Well, the dashed line around the outside represents the edge of the roof, and we can see that if we project these lines down, they line up with the edge of the roof. And this dashed line here represents the ridge, which actually lines up with the apex there, like so. We'll notice that the distance between the wall and the edge of the roof here, if we come down to our elevation, is a distance of 600, whereas we'll call this the eave overhang, the distance from the eave, which is the part that the gutter attaches to, is 600 on this side and on this side of the cottage. But on the front, or if you like the south and the north side, that eave overhang reduces down to a distance of 300. So it's important to remember that. Okay, the type of drawing, the type of roof is also important to know. So let's have a quick look at some of the more common types of roofs that are used. And if we have a look at these, we try to identify the one that we're doing. It's probably closest to this open gable roof here. That's what we're trying to create. A close relative to the open gable is the box gable, with that end of it actually boxed in, but ours is actually open. It doesn't have that part going across there and closing it off. I've got other ones here which you've probably seen around the place. Skillian, one of the most common ones, is what we call a hip and valley roof. Dutch gable is another one that was popular many years ago. You'll see this type of skillion and lean-to used in lots of new developments around the Gold Coast. One of the older style of roof as well. You've got a combination here for old Queenslanders, that sort of stuff as well. Parts of a roof, or elements of a roof, are also important to know. For us though, we probably just need to know that this is the ridge, these are the eaves, okay, and we've got our gutter going on there like so. So the other information we can surmise about the roof is given to us here. The roof says that it's made from trusses, which means that they are timber frames that are made to actually support the load of whatever material goes on top. And if we have a look here, we can see that it tells us that the trusses are at 900 centres, which means each truss is spaced 900 millimetres apart. They're made from this material, and sitting on top is a ColourBond custom orb roof sheeting at a pitch of 15 degrees. So that means that the material that lines the roof to stop rain obviously coming through is sheeting, metal sheeting, commonly referred to as custom orb, or that's its profile, and its brand is ColourBond. The pitch relates to the angle that the roof makes with the horizontal. So this roof line here is at 15 degrees to the horizontal, or if you like, to the ground. Okay, so knowing that information, let's now go to ArchiCAD and actually insert that roof. So making sure we're in the ground floor, and go to your roof setting in the toolbox, open up the toolbox, and then we've got to change a few things here. Now default yours is probably set to 0 for this first setting. This is commonly known as the roof pivot line offset. Basically, if you look at the arrow here, it wants to know the distance from the current story to where the roof meets the top of the walls. So we know that our wall height is 2400, so therefore the roof is going to sit on top of the wall. So we need to type in 2400 millimeters there. So that's defined by the walls. Let's go to the right hand side here. Now on the right hand side here, you've got two options you can choose as in the structure or what it's made from, the roof. If you go to the right one, it only then gives you these two options of a roof CB, which stands for ColourBond, which is true, or roof tiled. If we go to the left icon, this is the simple roof material, we can then choose a simple material for the actual roof. In this case, because we're going to be applying some coverings later on, what I'm going to do is simply select that simple icon, go to roof timber. Where is it? There it is there, roof timber, and that's the one I'm going to accept. Before we finalise the roof timber and material, we must make also sure that the rafter thickness is not left at the default combination thickness. Because we're going to be adding our own coverings to the roof, we need to reduce this thickness from 156 down to 90, and then we can move on to the pitch. Below that, you've got the pitch or the angle of the roof, so make sure that reads 15. I think that was at 25 or something as standard. And this next box down here relates to the way the end of the rafters or the trusses, what angle they're cut off at. Most roofs will have it cut off vertically so that the fascia and gutter can then be screwed to that like so. So that one's selected if it's not already done. Let's have a quick look at the box below. This should already be now set to 15 degrees, which it is. No need to change that. But the other one we might need to change is the eave overhang. Remember back here I said that if I can pull it up, we said we had a gap, or if you like a distance, a setback, an offset, that the eave, the edge of the roof, is set back from the walls was 600 and then 300. So we can only set it to one size. So you always set that to the side of the roof that you then can't change the pitch of. So we'll do that by going to 600 millimeters. I think yours might be set to 450 or something by default. And that's really all we need to change. There's no need at this point to change these materials because we're going to use what we call another program called CAD image to actually cover all that anyway. Make sure it's on the roof general layer, and then we can click OK. Now we're ready to insert the roof. Now there are two insertion methods. You can either insert using a single roof panel at a time by clicking on this icon, or you can click onto the hip and valley icon beside it, which then will allow you to have a hip and valley or gable roofs insertion method. So what we'll do now is we'll choose the multi-plane method and then come across to the second icon, and you can see if I click and hold there, you can either choose to do a hip and valley roof or a gabled roof. So I'm going to choose the gable roof icon, which is that one you can see there with two panels, and then simply come across to the top left corner and snap once to there, move the cursor down and away towards the bottom right corner, and you can see as you're doing that the two panels are being created with the ridge in the middle. If I was to go the other way, you'll see that the panels stretch in the opposite direction until the height is more than the width, and then it'll swap back like so. Snap it to the other corner, and then you'll see that it will then default to this dashed line going around the outside, which is 600, and a ridge line down the middle. If we go have a look at that in 3D, we should end up with, try to get that to work, there we go, and we might just come back a little bit so we can see what's going on there. Yep, that's looking good, the roof seems to be in the correct position. What we will do now though is we will edit the roof and also edit these walls, but we'll do that in the next tutorial.